It is my pleasure to introduce our second Career Day speaker. And it's my great pleasure to also say that our speaker was once one of my students. And yes, he was always this smart, this bright, and this funny. Alex Sattler, class of 2012, was born and raised in Ojai, California. Graduated from Villanova Preparatory School in 2012, marking the beginning of an inspiring path to success. After completing high school, Alex's pursuit of higher education led him to California State University, Channel Islands. His commitment to academic excellence shone through as he graduated in 2017 summa cum laude, earning a degree in performing arts. During his time at Channel Islands, he cultivated a diverse skill set and pursued his passion for performing arts in multiple facets. Alex is now co-owner of an improv comedy school located in Ventura, California. Jest Entertainment demonstrates not only his dedication to the entertainment industry of Ventura County, but also his entrepreneurial spirit. His involvement in the comedy school showcases his ability to inspire and educate others, providing a platform for aspiring comedians to hone their craft and find their comedic voice while also navigating a global pandemic. Alex Sattler's multifaceted journey encompasses a wide range of experiences, from his academic accomplishments to his thriving role in the world of comedy education in Ventura County. His unique blend of education and entrepreneurship reflects a dedication to personal growth and a commitment to helping others achieve their creative goals. It's with a great deal of pride I introduce to you Alex Sattler.
Thank you, Mr. Bunce. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here. I do want to say, first off, I've never done a career day speech before, so I might wing it at certain parts. So, I'm an improv guy, so just keep that in mind if you see me kind of go away from my sort of script here. So I will say I'm very appreciative of Mr. Bunce for inviting me here today. And at first, when he invited me, it was like a month ago that he invited me. At first, I was like, wait, me? Talking about career day? What? Because I know that a lot of people that I went to school with, they're out, with, very high respecting job title stuff. Whereas me, I'm just kind of, running my own thing. But then I thought about it, and I thought, I have the chance to talk to you guys about something that I never got talked to, or I never got the info about when I was your age, which the whole theme of what I'm talking about today is what school won't teach you. Because believe it or not, you're not going to learn everything you need to know about making it in the real world when you're here or when you're in college. Sorry to burst the bubble, but that's just how it is. There's a whole world of education outside of here. And, especially when it comes to, learning how to do your own thing, being an entrepreneur and running your own business. And I was kind of curious, just by show of hands, how many of you guys, when you get out of high school or college, whatever, want to get your own business started and be an entrepreneur? Okay, one person. Okay, here we go. It's not a bad thing to raise your hand, guys. If you really want to do it, there we go. We got a few others. All right, so we got a few of you want to go out and do your own thing. That's awesome. I love it. I'm all about people pursuing what they really want to do in life. But the thing is that you're going to have to learn a lot of stuff outside of here, and I'm just going to kind of give you a brief glimpse as to what that looks like. Because another thing that you're going to have to do throughout your life, and you may have known this already, you may not, but you're going to have to learn a lot of things throughout your entire life. Like, learning doesn't just stop when you get out of college or high school or whatever. You're going to be learning all the time. And that's a hard lesson that I had to learn because I was under the same impression of like, well, once I get out of college, I'm just going to get this sweet job. And then, I'm not going to have to learn any new skills or anything. I'm just going to do that, make money. Wrong. You're going to have to learn a lot of stuff especially if you want to make your own idea a success. So get that in your heads now. You're going to have to learn way more outside of school. Another thing that really helped me in the process was staying humble, but feeling good about your accomplishments. Because I know a lot of people that are very successful money-wise, and they're not humble, and that's all they're going to be. All they're going to be known is someone that made a lot of money. And I don't really think that's a great way to be remembered, honestly. You found a good job, that's great, but then outside of that, what do you have? You have a great support network of people. Do you have anything else, really? No, you just have the money. And it comes out of, not being humble and being appreciative of the people that helped you out along the way. So, and that's another thing I'll get into more later, but, just making money and all that. But being humble, learning that now is going to be huge for your success later. Because being appreciative, being thankful is going to get you way farther in life than thinking, oh, I did a great job. Because trust me, there are plenty of people I know that are really good at what they do. I mean, they do a heck of a great job, but they're not really humble, nice people, and they're not really going to get far because of that. But also, when I say be humble, I also don't mean to not feel good about the wins that you have, because you should really celebrate those wins. Like I remember when I was here senior year, when I was in Mr. Bunce's English class, I think back when he taught English. And I remember a big win that I celebrated was passing the term paper. Like, I didn't think I was going to pass that, but, somehow I did. And I celebrated that win, and you should feel good when those wins come around. And when people give you positive feedback, take that in. I used to be somebody that didn't really respond well to positive feedback when I did something good. And, when people say, hey, this is awesome, I'm really enjoying it, really take that in. Feel good about it. If you start doing that now, it's going to be way easier going into the rest of your life also. So don't feel bad about celebrating a win. It's normal. You should do it. Next thing here, going to college. Yes. Obviously, I have a certain point of view when it comes to college. I definitely believe that there are some colleges, or there are some degrees, some careers where you absolutely should go to college, right? You guys, everybody here, you guys want to go to college, right? Yeah. Okay, I heard like half of you, so that's not really a good sign. No, but like some careers are a great idea to go to college. Like, let's see, anybody here have an idea of what kind of degree that you want to get? Anybody? Yeah, you in the red jacket. Sociology? Okay, yeah, I'd say that's good to get a degree for. Anybody else? What was it? What do you want to get a degree in?
Biology.
Biology? Okay, yeah, that's a good one to go to college for. Anybody else?
I got one.
I want to ask a student. It's my brother, everybody. He went to college a long time ago. Anybody else? Anybody on this side? No idea? Yes, you over there.
In law.
In law. Oh, yeah, that's a great one to go to college for. So these are all great examples of things that you absolutely should go to college for. Sociology, law degree, science. Those are all great things, and you pretty much should be getting a degree for, because if you don't, it's going to be really hard to get a job in that area. But for me, I went to college for performing arts, and you can imagine how far my performing arts degree got for me when I went into the real world. I'm going to give you a little hint. Didn't really get me much. If you're going for something that's outside of science It's going outside of, law degree is a great example. You want to be an architect, engineer, you want to be a doctor. Those are great things to go to college for and, have like a nice name college on that degree. A lot of other things, though, you really don't need to go to college for it. Like with me, performing arts, I didn't need to go to college to learn more about performing arts. If I wanted to be a teacher, sure, that'd be a great idea. But for me, I could have just, stayed around community theater, bounced around and, went to LA, did some bigger productions. That's a big way I could have learned if I wanted to stay in that field. So you really need to think about, because there's a lot of limitations and there's a lot of big things about college. Because, college is way more expensive now than it was when I was going to school. And you got to think, because college is its own business. Like, they want to make money off of you guys. Like, they're not just doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They're just not going to do that. Like, if they were, it'd be free. So you really need to think about, is this really an investment that I want to make? And is it really going to do dividends for me in my long-term future? If it's a yes, depending on your field, then go for it. If not, maybe think about it and think about some alternatives to college, or at least, big name college. There's a lot of great alternatives out there. Apprenticeships, trade schools, community college. These are things that'll get you a lot of experience and save you a lot of money. Because trust me, I know a lot of people that bought into that whole thing of, I just need a college degree and then I'll make it. Then I'll figure it out, right? And now they're drowning in college debt right now. That's just a fact. That's just a fact of life. So you really need to think, is the risk worth it? If it is, great. If not, try out an alternative. I know plenty of people that did community college for a year or two. And then after a year or two, they either wanted to go to another big school, or they're like, yeah, I don't think college is for me. I'm just going to try to get a job in the thing that I want to do, and then I'm just going to learn and get paid at the same time. So just really, these are big decisions that you're going to have to make going into your adult life. So, and really take this seriously, because trust me, student loans aren't fun. You've probably heard that already, but it's very true. Let's see. Yeah, going into the real world, I also had this idea that, as soon as I graduated from college, like, there'd just be this great job lined up for me. I'm going to make good money. As soon as they're going to see my college degree and see that, wow, this is a person that's worth a lot. Let's pay him big bucks. Wrong. Not going to happen. Trust me, especially in the economy and the world we're in now, it's going to be harsh. The very first job that I got out of college, I was helping at a convenience store on Lake Casitas with a 4-year college degree, because that's all I could get at the time. The job market was rough back then. So you really need to minor your expectations, because it's not going to be this amazing, like, they're going to roll out the red carpet for me just because I got a degree. It's not going to happen. So minor your expectations and really think about the kind of jobs that you want to go for out of college. Because again, long-term goals, right? You need to build habits now that will help you out in your long-term success later. Is this job going to teach me things that maybe I should know about that's going to help me with what I really want to do? Is it going to pay me decent enough? What's the culture like over there? Because another big mistake is not really knowing what the culture is at that job, and then you're stuck in it, and now you're trying to figure out a way out. And that sucks. Like, you don't want to be in a job where, the management has terrible culture. You should really try to take some steps before that to think, am I really a good fit here? If not, then find something else. Trust me, there's plenty of other jobs. But yeah, really take your time, because again, this will all factor into your long-term success. Let's see. Oh, yes. And another thing about when you're going into the start of your career is also, not really an entrepreneurial thing, but something that I learned the hard way is a lot of times your work friends aren't really going to be your friends. I'm sorry, but that's just the harsh world that we live in. And I have been bitten by that bug many times. I got way too comfortable. I was really honest about certain things at a job, and it ended up biting me, unfortunately. And that's just how it is at a job. You've got to keep a comfortable distance. Because I also bought into the thing of like, oh, you know, I work with people, I can trust them, I could, you know, be really honest with them about things. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't, because you will probably, and you know, the saying goes, you know, anything you say can and will be used against you. That's especially true in the workplace. So just be careful when you're there. You know, keep a good distance, keep a professional distance. You know, you don't have to make friends with everybody that you work with. You don't have to. You go in because you're making an agreement with them to do a certain job, and then they pay you for it. That doesn't mean you have to do all this extra stuff. If you don't want to make friends with everybody, you don't have to. Obviously, you should be professional and respectful of everybody. Obviously, that's a must. But if you're worried so much about making friends with everybody, it's going to be hard to get anywhere because your focus is in the wrong place. You have the wrong mindset about it. So don't worry too much about it. And if you do worry too much about it, it might end up not going as well for you as you think. Oh, yes, and soft skills. Huge for success. When I'm talking about soft skills, I'm talking about skills that you don't often see on a resume. You know, like, oh, I've been working so long in Microsoft Excel. I really know PowerPoint. You know, I volunteered a lot. You know, there's a lot of skills that people look for outside of, you know, the regular stuff. And these are skills, you know, like communication, ability to work well with people, listening, time management, problem solving, adaptability, leadership, empathy. These are going to be huge things for your long-term success. And I'm not saying you have to nail every single one of these out the bat. Obviously, there's, you know, time management is still a big one that I'm working on, honestly. But these are things that you're going to need to really work on if you really want to have long-term success. Because if you can't, you know, figure out how to be empathetic with people, you know, when they're having issues and, you know, they can't get something in at a deadline or whatever, if you can't be a good leader for people, if you can't communicate well, if you don't really listen, you know, and you're just thinking about yourself, you're not really going to go that far. So really take these soft skills seriously because people notice these things. When you work somewhere, or heck, maybe some of your teachers already know about some of these soft skills about you guys, they notice these things. And they take it into account of how successful this person is going to be, whether it's in that class, in that job, in this career, whatever. So take the soft skills seriously. And if you do, you'll get major dividends from it. Let's see, next thing here. Oh, yes, I have a great idea for a business. Yes, so I already see that at least a few of you want to get into business for yourself one day. And that's awesome. I think it's a great idea. I'm always supporting people that want to go into business for themselves and they have an idea behind it. It's excellent. But there's a lot more to starting your own business outside of that, right? You need to know what the real purpose of your business is before you put things in motion. You really need to know that outside of the idea, what am I truly trying to accomplish? Why am I really in this? You know, because, and you need to have some kind of understanding of all of that. Because if you don't, when you get into things, it's going to get real complicated. And then people are going to get confused by your mission and they're not going to get behind you. So you need to have a firm grasp of these things. And really the basic thing is, what's the real purpose behind this? Like with Just Entertainment, my true purpose was to give people quality improv comedy and education in Ventura County, something that's been lacking in that area for a long time. And also to give performers paid opportunities for their work. Again, that was never even heard of in Ventura County before, and I was looking at it for years, and I'm just like, how has nobody done this before? Like, really? I'm the one breaking ground? It's like, you know, 2018 was when I started, and it's like, you know, I had this idea, and I had this full understanding, and I just went forward with it with a great team. So you need to really fully understand the purpose of everything before you move forward. And also, be creative with it. don't try to just copy what other people in your field do. Make sure you add your own style and spin to it. That's what will really make people attracted to your idea. Because trust me, for a while I thought about this like, this other group does things this way, maybe just emulate that. No, that's not what they want. They don't want something that feels exactly like something else. They want something because that is unique. There's something interesting. There's something special about it. And if you add your own you to it, your own unique personality, your own unique interest to this thing, what you think makes this thing great, then people are going to be way more interested in it, and they won't feel like, oh, it's just a rip-off of something else. Because trust me, if you try to go for just basically somebody else's idea, that's all you're going to be known for. Is this, you just use this other person's idea. Now, I'm not saying that, you can't, pay homage or, be inspired by other people's ideas, but always remember to add yourself to it somehow. And that'll get people way more interested in it, because even with Jest, my own spin was my training that I brought to the program, to the education. Me going to the Second City, me studying at UCB and Groundlings, and spending a lot of time in the LA improv comedy scene and bringing all of that to the education to make way better improv than there was before. So yeah, please add your own spin to it. The challenges in starting a business. I'm gonna be honest, the start is always the hardest part. When you're just getting things going, you're figuring out a lot of stuff while maintaining so much other stuff at the time also. Because, I'm going to be honest, you're probably going to be working some kind of full-time job, maybe 2, heck, maybe even 3 in this economy. You're going to be doing a lot at the same time of figuring out what you want your business to even be, who you want to work with, what's your team going to look like. Is this a real product? Is this software? What am I really doing? And you're going to be doing a lot at the same time, but you always need to believe in yourself and believe in the idea the whole time, because that's what's going to carry you through it. If you don't really believe in it that much, or maybe you're just in it for the money, you're not going to make it past the start. Because trust me, so many startups fail because they don't either believe enough or they're in it for the wrong reasons. So you need to really believe in it, and you need to understand that it's going to be really hard and it's going to take a lot of time and money. But if you truly believe in it and you have a great support network around you, you have a chance. You have a chance, and you need to believe in that chance. Like, I started an improv comedy school back in 2018, and I was trying to expand, and then what happens? There's a pandemic. Great environment for an improv comedy school to expand. Awesome. And then we were shut down for a little over a year, and I had a lot of doubts at the time, because I don't know if anybody remembers, like mid-2020, I was thinking, like, is this thing gonna go away eventually? Like, what's going on here? Like, please. But I just had to keep having faith in myself and keep having faith that eventually something will come back, and eventually it did. It was hard, but it eventually came back to a place where people could come back indoors and do fun stuff. And now I'm at the place where we have our own theater, we have multiple troops going. But if I didn't have that belief in myself and the idea, it wouldn't have gone farther than that. It would have just been like it was a fun thing for a year and a half, but I'm just gonna do something else. No, keep having faith, believe in it, and great things will happen. Let's see. What's next here? I'm trying to find. Yes. Another big thing about starting a business is don't try to do everything by yourself. Because trust me, again, you're going to have a lot of other things happening outside of starting a business. And if you try to do everything yourself, you're going to get burnt out real fast, and you're not going to make it. The longevity just isn't going to work out, because you're going to have to do a lot of things for a while before things really pick up momentum. And that's why the best idea that I always give people is work with people who know what they're doing in specific areas that you don't. You need to put together a team, because trust me, when it comes to running a business, one person doesn't know everything. Steve Jobs didn't know everything about starting that company. Same thing with Bill Gates, same thing with Jeff Bezos, same thing with all these successful people. They didn't know everything when they got into it, but they put together a team of people that knew all these big things that they didn't. And they leaned on this team, and that's why they were successful. It's because they trusted, they communicated, and they worked together. So really be open to people that know more about certain things than you do. There are people on my team that know way more about marketing, about outreach, about plenty of things that I don't, and they're super useful because they know way more about it than I do. And that's okay. I don't have to know everything about everything. I could just lean on my team and trust them. So that's going to be really huge for you wanting to start your own business. And also a big thing when you're getting your own business started, try to find people who own and operate their own business. Learn from them. Ask them questions. Trust me, I know plenty of business owners in the area. They love answering questions, especially from young people that want to get their own thing going. Like, you're not going to just walk into a store and then ask, like, hey, I'm hoping I could ask you a few questions about how you got started, and then they're just going to throw you out of the store. It's highly unlikely. And if they do, well, that store's probably not going to last that long, honestly. But if you want to know how to really do it, you should really ask people who went through it, who are doing it. And because a big inspiration for me was a man by the name of Phil Katz, who's owned and operated probably 50 to 100 businesses in his life. You know, some of them failed, but he learned a lot from them. But a good amount of them have really succeeded. And he learned a lot from the failures. He used them to put them into successful businesses. And I asked him a lot of questions. I asked him about a lot of planning. I asked him about a lot of things that I didn't know. And that's how I became more knowledgeable and used that to build Just Entertainment. So, you know, maybe if you know somebody, a friend, maybe someone in your family owns and operates their own business, ask them questions. I'm sure they'll be happy to give you any information that you want. But you're not going to know unless you go out and try to learn and try to ask questions. Because another big thing is the person that asks the most questions is usually the most successful because they have more information, they have more knowledge, and they can use that. If you don't have it, you can't use it. So please, ask questions. Let's see. Oh yeah, I already went through that. Oh yeah, it takes a village, guys. Like I said earlier, you're not going to do it all by yourself. You're going to have some kind of team of people, no matter what field you want to get into. You know, whether it's, you want to get your own app going, or you want to go into law school, or you want to go into sociology, whatever it is, you're not going to do it all by yourself. You're going to have to try to lean on people, classmates, mentors. You're going to have to try to trust and communicate with other people as best you can. And if you don't, you're not going to get that far. That's just the honest truth. If you can't really work with people and try to get as much knowledge as you can, you're only going to get to a certain level and then plateau. And then that's it. So, really try to lean on as many people as you can, and that's going to be a huge part of your success. Let's see, next. Oh, yeah, so when it comes to putting a team together, obviously you should be one of the most passionate people about this idea, right? Whatever idea it is, you should be very passionate about it. But that doesn't mean that the other people on your team have to have that same passion level. It doesn't. There are several people on my team that I know for a fact aren't as passionate about improv comedy as I am. But they provide a vital piece to the team, and I can trust them, and I know I can lean on them when I need to. So if you're looking for people that have the same passion level as you for your idea, you're going to wait a while. So don't be looking for people that have the same passion. Just look for people that you can trust, people you can easily work with, and provide that piece that you're missing. And it'll be way easier to get a team together that way. Let's see, I already went through that. Oh, yeah. Another thing I had to learn the hard way. Don't be afraid to admit you have no idea what you're doing. Because trust me, I did it a lot. I thought that, I got to a certain place, I'm getting good momentum, I know what I'm doing, and then something happens, and I'm just like, well, man, I have no idea what I'm doing with this thing. And again, having to lean on other people, leaning on mentors to guide me, leaning on other business owners to tell me like, hey, I'm going through this thing right now, and they probably went through that same thing. How did you navigate it, right? If you think that you're just going to know everything out of college, you're wrong. Again, going back to lifelong learning, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, especially if you're going into business for yourself. You're going to make a ton of mistakes because we're not born knowing how to operate your own business. We're bought into this idea of, you go to finish high school, you finish college, you get into a job, you get a career going, you pay student loan debt for the rest of your life, and then you eventually get a house if you can afford it. And then, eventually you retire and then maybe go on a vacation or two. No, that's wrong. That's super old school thinking that just doesn't apply anymore, especially for people that want to own and operate in your own business. You can do it. You absolutely can. If you really apply yourself and you believe in yourself and are willing to be that humble and know that you don't know what you're doing, but you have this team, this support network around you, and even willing to admit to them, like, look, I have no idea what I'm doing here. I need help. And the more help that you look for, the better, the more successful you're going to be. Because so many successful people had a lot of help along the way. I had a lot of help from my family, who's sitting here with us today. I had a lot of help from people that I've worked with in the past. I've had a lot of help from my girlfriend, and her family was a huge help to me when I was getting things going. But I couldn't have gotten that far without asking for that help. So don't be afraid to ask for help, guys, because trust me, if they really are your friends and they really want to look out for you, they will find a way to help you somehow. Let's see. Well, let's see. Ooh, I should probably wrap it up. So in conclusion, I just want to leave things with a few quotes that I always live by and have been a huge help to me through this whole process. The first one is a quote that I heard from Charlie Day a long time ago, and I still apply this quote to my life, which is, do what makes you great. Because obviously the old quote is, do what you love, right? It doesn't really apply when you think about it. Because obviously I love, watching Netflix all day and eating pizza, but that's not going to get me anywhere, right? I love it. I love playing video games, but that's not really going to get me that far. But what I do, what I know I'm great at, is leading people and putting them in positions of success. What I'm great at is putting a group of people together and knowing how to problem solve and knowing how to increase chemistry and get the best out of people. That's what I know I'm great at. And I know that I'm great at being on a stage and putting on a show for people also. So if you truly believe in those things and you know that you have certain things that you're great at, hone in on those things and try to figure out how it can apply to the thing that you really want to do. And if you can do that, and if you can work really hard and be really good to people along the way, amazing things will happen. Trust me, it will. Let's see. Oh, another quote. Don't spend your whole life building someone else's empire. It is an incredible quote that I really hadn't heard until, I think, a year or two ago, but it's so true. We're bought into this idea of just going into a job that somebody else created and then just helping this person's business being built up for our whole lives. You don't have to do it. Obviously, if you really want to, go for it. But I think there's so much outside of that we can do. There's so much that we can do for ourselves to put our own name out there. Heck, even going to law school, you don't have to stay at another person's law firm your whole life. You can get your own started, put your own name out there and put in that work and put in your own unique vision on that, and people will respond to it. But you're never going to get there if you don't try. That's another thing. So many people that I know also, they have two things. They are either really passionate about this idea, or they're just really hardworking. And you've got to put both of those together. Because there are some people that I know are really passionate about this idea that they've had for years, but they don't want to put the hard work in. They don't want to put in the struggle. They don't want to put in all these unpaid hours that you're going to have to go through. And go through all this suffering, because it's going to happen. You're going to have really low times, you're going to have really high times, and you're just going to have to go through it, because every business goes through it. And then there's the super hardworking people. You know, they're really good at doing a good job at something, but just the passion isn't there because they have the wrong mindset. And you've got to have the right mindset about your idea if it's really going to work. So, but if you have both of those things, passionate, hardworking, that's going to really get you somewhere. And yeah, just build your own dreams or you'll end up building someone else's. It's very true. If you never build your own, all you're going to do is help somebody else build theirs. Again, if you're okay with that, you know, go for it. But I honestly think that every single person, especially here, if you have an idea that you're passionate about, at least try. At least try to go for it. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. Startups don't make it to huge Google success all the time. But every single business owner, or at least most of them, when you ask them after things didn't go well, if they regretted it, they didn't. They had an idea, they were passionate about it, they wanted to put a good team together, and they went for it. If they never went for it, they'd regret it their whole life. And I don't want you guys to go through that either, especially those that want to get their own thing going. So at least try it at some point. And trust me, you'll feel way better about at least trying it. And hey, it could work out. You never know unless you go for it. So please, at some point, if you want to get your own thing going, just go for it at some point. You'll be amazed what happens when you really try. And then this last thing, know your own definition of success. Because I know a lot of people that have a lot of different definitions of success. Some people that I went to school with here and graduated, they say they're successful, but I don't see it that way. I really don't. I have a very different definition. Great example. When I was going to school here, there was a kid that was in my class who bullied me all the time. In fact, there was a few kids that did that. But one of these kids in particular, great basketball player. Like, not really that good a person, but great basketball player. He knew what he was doing on the court. Best person on the varsity team. I figured he was going to get into a D1 division, maybe even go G League, NBA. You want to know what he's doing now? He's an accountant. Anybody think that's a little sad? That was all he wanted to do. I grew up with this kid. All he wanted to do was play basketball for a major team. And he ended up taking the safe route. And he thinks that he's successful. I don't see it that way. My definition of success is you're making a living, doing what you love, and helping people. Really helping people. Giving people opportunities. Putting them in positions of success. That's my version. But you need to figure out your version of success, because yours could be wildly different from mine. Obviously, if your version is, you know, making a ton of money, having a sweet house up in Malibu or whatever, then that's your definition. But you shouldn't just have your definition be what everybody else's is. You got to figure out your own. You know, maybe your definition is similar to mine, where you don't have to make a ton of money, because trust me, with Just Entertainment, I'm not making Google money. Trust me, that's not happening. But I also feel very successful because I have something that's going, that's really helping out a community. I'm getting people paid. I'm putting out a great thing that people enjoy. I feel successful because of it. But you need to find that definition for yourself. I can't give it to you. Nobody else should give it to you. You need to take time to figure that out yourself. And yeah, that's really all I got. So thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Very much appreciate you being here. So we're going to open it up to questions. Do we have any questions in the group here? Okay, in the back. On my way back there, maybe you could say how Villanova prepared you for.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Villanova prepared me a lot because, in addition to having, a steady work ethic here, because trust me, there was a lot of work that I put in, not just in the regular school work, but, I was also in the theater department. I played sports when I could. I played basketball when I could. And, big time management. Also, the values that this school has, a lot of what I've said already, family values, being respectful, learning to work well with people. These are all things that I learned a lot when I was going to school here, forever ago. But, obviously Villanova was a big part of it also. So, yeah, definitely agree. All right.
Do you have a favorite comedian besides yourself?
That's a great question. I definitely don't think myself that highly in terms of the comedy scene. But in terms of comedy, I think, I'm very big into the improv comedy scene, not so much into like the stand-up comedy scene. Obviously, I appreciate it. But in terms of improv comedy, I love, Ben Schwartz and Thomas Middleditch. I think that those two are excellent improvisers. They have a Netflix special that's full of just improv shows. If you ever, I thoroughly enjoy them, but I think they're just pretty funny to anybody that could watch them. So those are definitely big inspirations to me. And also just, people in the Second City scene back in the day, SNL will always be a big inspiration for me. So those are definitely some big people that I look up to. Oh.
Do you have a joke that you could tell us?
The thing about improv is it's not about jokes. It's not about preparing jokes ahead of time. So unfortunately, I don't have a joke for you. Yeah.
Do we have any other questions? Here's a hand over here.
How did you find people to be on your team, like for marketing and stuff?
Ooh, great question. So initially, I guess this kind of goes into the origin of Jest Entertainment. I kind of knew these people, like some of them I knew directly, but some of them was kind of indirectly. So main people, or at least one of them, the main people on my team, I was in an improv group with him for years before I started Jest, and he was in school at the time to become a lawyer. Graduated recently, and he and I just kind of connected right around the time that he joined. And, he's a great guy. I love him to death, and I kind of knew him from that experience. And then, he and I kind of came up with the idea of starting our own thing together. But it wouldn't have happened if he never joined the improv group I was in. So that's how I met him. And then other people I just met just from doing drop-in classes, actually. Like one of our director of operations, Dawn, was one of the people that came to one of our very first drop-in classes back in 2018. And she just stuck with us, and she had a great time. And then we found out, like, oh, she has all this business experience and, like, running businesses and all this stuff. We really came to know her and trust her, and we just wanted to give her the position. The same thing with, marketing, media. Another guy, Chris, came to our drop-ins, is a part of our performing group, and found out that he's been editing movies and putting together music for a long time. So we just said, hey, I think you'd be, a great media guy for us with like putting together clips and stuff. And then another person that helps us out with marketing, same thing. Came to our classes, found out that she helped out with the startup for marketing for years before she came over to California. And we just, came to get to know her after a while, and then we just offered the position and she went for it. So yeah, they just came very organically. Because only sometimes it was like, oh, it's like a friend of a friend kind of thing. But usually it just came together very organically. But that doesn't mean that, you can't reach out and like, through like Instagram or just like trying to find groups that are trying to help businesses kind of thing. But in my own experience, I was very lucky to have those connections develop organically. So, yeah, it saved me a lot of time and effort. Oh,
How did Mr. Bunce's English class influence your interest in the performing arts?
well, the term paper certainly didn't help. No, I mean, Mr. Bunce, he was, I mean, genuinely, he was always one of my biggest supporters and still is. Like, he's still one of those few people that consistently wishes me a happy birthday every year. And he's a great soul, and I love the man very dearly. He would always be at my shows when we had him here, and he was just a great guy to look up to, still is. Awesome guy. I hope you guys are treating him well, by the way, because he's a great dude. Yeah. But yeah, he was very inspirational and just, always giving me that confidence that I needed to go for the things I wanted to do. So thank you, Mr. Bunce.
Thank you, Mr. Bunce. That's very sweet. Do we have another question? Anyone have another question?
Can I say something?
Oh,
As Alex's
absolutely.
mom?
This is Alex's mom.
I just want to say that Villanova has, as his mother, has been here for Alex his whole life up to this point and has never left his side. In support, encouragement, believing in him, making him feel like who he was God's gift to him, and it's been the best school. So I want to thank Villanova, for being so supportive to their students and to my son. And he never would have gotten here. I mean, he always had it in him. The seed was always there, but they really nurtured who he was inside and encouraged him into this, stayed up with him. Like if somebody passed away in his family, they were there at the funeral. I mean, they were very supportive to Alex his whole life. And that means a lot to me. And I hope you guys feel as comfortable here as he did here and went on to become who he was meant to be. So that was all. So thank you very much.
I just wish that my Wildcat team was more successful at Wildcat Day, but, past is past.
Everybody can't wait.
Go Watusies, baby.
We're packs now. We're different. We turned into packs.
Oh.
So I don't know
Wow.
who the old Watusies are at this point.
Oh, the water buffaloes.
Water. But this year it was the Red Dragons, I have to say.
Oh, okay.